Hello, friends, and welcome to the most glorious of events, the Movie Mavericks podcast. This outstanding program is hosted by two fine gentlemen, Jason and Trevor. Now make it so.
MovieMavericks.com.
Hey, now everybody, welcome to episode 395 of the Movie Mavericks podcast. I'm Trevor Anderson. Since you're with Jason Rugard, he's got a rundown for us.
On tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the Oscar-nominated The Holdovers, as well as Dumb Money, Freelance, the creator, and the 40th re-release of Dune that just hit theaters. Trailers tonight: big Super Bowl spot for Deadpool and Wolverine, Twisters, Knox Goes Away, which is Michael Keaton's bid for action hero stardom, and Sting, as well as Kevin Spacey doing an about-face, returning to screens as another action hero. So interesting, two Oscar-nominated actors, Oscar-winning actors doing action hero stuff here. Peter 5'8" is the name of that Kevin Spacey film. We're going to be talking about all of this, except for first, we do some trivia. So Trevor, what do we got lined up?
Do some trivia. All right. What is the title character's full name in Spartacus? Spartacus, Marcus Spartacus, Thracian Spartacus, Spartacus Lentulus. Is it Marcus Spartacus?
I like the way that sounds the best, but I think it's that one with the L. Is there one with an L?
I know, right? Lentulus, Spartacus Lentulus.
I don't know if that's because of Leonidas and 300, but I feel like that sounds correct to me.
I have not seen Spartacus in a long time.
Me neither, a long time.
Yeah, since I was like a teenager.
I'm going to go with the last one you said there.
You think you're just going to be Lentulus. All right. No.
Was it Marcus?
I was just Spartacus.
What kind of bullshit is that?
Really? Spartacus's name is just Spartacus? He doesn't have a whole name?
I mean, that's kind of fucked.
I feel like that's weird. No? Is that not weird? Am I the only one who thinks that's weird?
I think that's a bad trivia question. Let's get another one.
All right. Well, I can't offer you much better. All right. Russell Crowe. Oh, that's a rock band. What is the name of this band? What's the name of Russell Crowe's band?
Oh, wow.
Murder of Crows, Death Cab for Cutie, 30-odd foot of grunts, Hate Made Easy. It's got to be Murder of Crows. Right?
No, it's that 30-odd foot of grunts.
It's 30-odd foot of grunts? Shut the fuck up. It is. What kind of a fucking name is that?
I like Murder of Crows so much better, and I'm really upset he didn't do that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. How could you... 30-odd foot of grunts. What does that mean?
Who knows? I mean, what is Russell Crowe?
I mean, hey, look, he's super fat now, so if he's got to go 30-odd feet, he's probably grunting.
He's made some bizarre decisions personally and professionally, and but hell of an actor nonetheless. Let's do one more.
He's always great. Yeah. He's taking us to the other side of the book.
Way back. In the way back.
All right. What director was responsible for the classic Western Shane? George Stevens, Howard Hawks, Fred Zinnemann, Stanley Kramer. Is it not George Stevens?
Yeah, it is George Stevens.
Yes.
Not bad. Let's do one more. I feel good. I feel like we're both doing good tonight. You feel like one more?
800. Let's go. Backwards in the book now.
This is pushing our luck at the casino table here.
Yeah. What 1965 Shakespeare adaptation saw all four of its leads nominated for Oscars? Twelfth Night, Hamlet, Macbeth, or Othello? I would guess Othello. But I don't know.
I want to say it's Macbeth.
I have no idea. Could be Macbeth. What are you going with?
Read those to me again. I thought it was Henry V, but apparently
12th,
not.
No, that's not an option. So Twelfth Night, Hamlet, Macbeth, or Othello?
Macbeth.
1965. Let's see. No. 'Twas Othello.
Well done.
I told you.
Fuck. I can't believe they could find an African-American actor back then to play Othello. I mean, who would they have cast in that?
I can't remember who it was.
That wouldn't have been...
that's a relatively famous...
But I mean, there wasn't that many stars that were doing that kind of, African-American stars that were doing Shakespearean type acting back then. So it was pretty rare.
I don't know. Was it?
To have an actor of that to do those kind of roles back then.
Oh yeah.
Was it somebody in blackface? Yeah.
I forget. Yeah. I'm remembering why it's so weird. It was Laurence Olivier.
There you go. Yeah. That's what's funny is when you brought this up.
That's actually why I remember this movie.
I thought of Laurence Olivier, but then I thought of him in Hamlet, and then I thought of him in Henry V. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, that's exactly why I remember that.
Probably why this movie isn't shown a lot.
Fucking weird, man.
Probably why.
I don't know. I don't think they shy away from it. It's relatively well known. A version of Othello, I thought.
Oh, was pretty good. I always thought that was underrated.
That was the who was in that?
Josh Hartnett and Mekhi Phifer.
And Mekhi Phifer wasn't the other. What was
Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles, that's right.
And that movie got shit on because it came out in the aftermath of Columbine, and for some reason it got lumped in with school violence, and it got shit on when it came out. But I liked that movie quite a bit.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I know why, but
Shakespeare stuff's violent. Can be quite violent, but yeah.
All right, let's move on and talk about the movies that we've seen for this show. And each week that we're doing this, we've talking about some Best Picture nominees. Last episode that we did, I talked about Maestro. Didn't particularly care for that one.
That's right.
And now we got The Holdovers, and this is Alexander Payne's. It feels like his umpteenth Best Picture nomination. The guy, every time he comes out, it seems to be a home run. Maybe minus downsizing, but
as far as Oscars go, yes,
Oscar bait, and he's a critical darling, and he's loved by the indie community at least because his movies do pretty well. And so you go ahead with The Holdovers because you saw it first.
I really liked the movie. I thought Paul Giamatti was really great in it. I thought I don't know how to say her name. Divine Joy. Divine. Is that her name?
The
Joy
lady
Randolph?
Who plays the night employee.
The lady who plays the cook and what? She's like the lunch lady, I guess. But yeah, the other employee there. She's the black lady. I liked her in this a lot, and I liked all the other characters as well. The kid as well. Who's the kid?
I don't know what his name is, but he's awkward in this, that's for sure.
I thought he was really good in it.
Yeah, I thought it was good too. I really liked it.
Whatever your name is, sir, I'm sorry.
I thought he was good.
That's what I mean. I thought the acting is really superb in this. I thought the writing was really good as well. I liked the story. It felt like a 70s story. The look of this film is fucking amazing for being shot on digital. It just looks beautiful, and it captures pretty much everything that's that you would expect for a 70s movie to look like. I remember for me, I remember like Outside Providence, for instance, being a movie that very much looks like set in the 70s and has that kind of mentality to the characters, and this worked as well for that. And I like the Paul Giamatti character's backstory and how it comes out throughout the whole movie. Obviously he's playing off this kid, and the kid's kind of bringing him out of his shell while he's also bringing the kid out of his shell. I don't know. I thought it was a real nice drama.
I thought so too.
Drama thing.
Really liked it. I think this is one of the best pictures of the year. And these kind of movies, anytime a movie is set in an academy, with this mentor, kind of like A Scent of a Woman had this kind of an angle to it. The Paper Chase is a movie that this reminded me of, that old Timothy Hutton movie from the 70s. And this looked like that. It's a simple story. It's not a whole lot going on in this movie, but I all the rhythms of it. Alexander Payne movies for me take about 15 minutes for me to get the vibe of it.
And this was no different,
right?
Yeah.
And it's a particular rhythm, and there's these little offshoots and dalliances where the narrative doesn't necessarily get pushed forward, but it's just a memorable moment. Like when this kid wigs out after his parents aren't going to come pick him up, and he goes and jumps and breaks his arm, which doesn't really do anything for the movie, but it's an oddly memorable moment for some reason for me. Also, I loved the scene.
Well, it puts them in cahoots, right?
Right. Well, I mean, that's right, but they're already stuck together in an impossible situation. Giamatti is fantastic in this. I mean, I thought I was going to be tired of this kind of character from him because he does this curmudgeon-y guy a lot. But this is a nice crinkle he has here. There's a nice little extra layer.
And the story opens up for him, right? Like, especially when they meet his old friends, when they're out in the town. And then there's like this weird, mirror kind of a thing with him and this kid. Like, this kid's kind of him when he was younger.
and then the kid meeting having his first kiss at that party. I thought all those moments were, you say that this is what the movie's about, and it doesn't sound very exciting or very interesting, but the way it's pulled off and performed, and in no small task, also that performance actress, the lady that you mentioned there, who's the cook and the help, who had her son who was killed in Vietnam. It's just all of that sounds on paper to me very trite, but the way it's performed and executed makes this something special. So I really was surprised at the Holdovers and how much I really enjoyed this movie. And I do agree with its nominations, particularly for Giamatti as Best Actor. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, he's really good in it.
Yeah, I was surprised. Were you surprised at how much you liked this? Because I didn't care for the last couple of Alexander Payne movies.
I thought it looked really good, so I wasn't. I guess I was more surprised that I liked it as much as I did, but I wasn't surprised that it was good, or that it was what it was, because it looked like Oscar bait. So I expected it to be as it was, but then it was it was deeper. It did draw you in more than you might have expected. Such a simplistic and really just a straight up 70s fucking movie, man. Like, this thing looks legit 70s.
Strangely to me, this is effortlessly 70s, and I know a lot of work went into this, where something like Licorice Pizza, which came out a couple years ago and was nominated.
I never watched that, but yeah.
That looked manufactured 70s.
Just thinking back to the trailer of that versus this, you're right. Like, this is for sure, this is like an aping of the 70s. This is what the 70s was like, is what the movies were like. We're going to make like a perfect representation of that. Whereas like something like Licorice Pizza, it becomes like a weird, like,
it's kitsch.
We're still making a movie today, but it's like kind of like that, but we're like wink, wink,
Yeah, it's ironic. That's the same thing that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was for me. It was like, this isn't a 60s movie. Yep. It's set in the 60s, but wink, wink. We know what's going on here. This is a modern movie. So, but to me, The Holdovers absolutely nailed it. So I highly recommend that one. Let's pivot here and talk about Dumb Money. This is the GameStop movie that was directed by Craig Gillespie, who did I, Tonya a couple years back and a number of decent movies. And this didn't do as well as it was perceived to do in the box office. Once again, I'll let you go ahead and start with your review, then I'll jump in.
Well, I mean, I'll give a simple review. This just happened. I lived through this. I think we all did. I liked this movie. I thought it was interesting and fun. I like the acting in it. I like the way that it played out. I thought all the actors are great in this. And it's definitely they do a good job of making this a little guy versus big guy, David versus Goliath. And it really, just as this was actually happening in real life, makes you kind of want to stand up and say, yeah, give it to them, get yours, screw these guys, because they're out there trying to screw you. But it does give you a little bit more insight, I feel like, into the guy behind all of this, and how he really wasn't all about that, which is odd to me because everyone else was. It was the thing that made this work, and he was just really liked GameStop, which I think is funny. But I don't know. I loved the supporting cast is freaking amazing. You got Pete Davidson, Vincent D'Onofrio, America Ferrera, who else? Like Nick Offerman was in this, Seth Rogen, who I thought was really good.
Dane DeHaan.
Shailene Woodley, who plays his wife in this, is surprisingly really good for such a small role.
She's memorable.
I thought just everything about this movie, and this movie in general, the whole undertone of this is about the little guy, sticking to the big guy, or at least the little guy sticking up for the little guy in front of the big guy, even because it reminds me of of Shailene Woodley standing by her man during the family dinner, which is a wonderful scene where Pete Davidson is the brother of Paul Dano, who is the guy who behind all this. And he's trying to give him shit a little bit, like, oh, you're a millionaire now, you got to tell mom and dad, and they don't believe it, this and that. And Shailene Woodley playing the wife just is like, nah, like, this dude, he knows what he's doing. He was behind it the whole time. You all think he's a fucking joke, but he's not, because look what he did.
Well, not only that, and the dad's played by Clancy Brown. I mean, that's another great bit of casting.
There you go. I mean, you're right about that. I thought it was a really good movie. I thought it was really fun. For what it is. I usually don't like, movies that are about real life events, like literally a couple years after they've happened, which they've been doing now for a while, I think, because I've already seen it. But this was just something that happened that I thought was fun while it happened, so I made a fun movie.
Conversely, I love movies that take place, in current times or take a situation that I didn't know much about. Social Network is one of my favorite movies of all time, and that's gorgeous. And that's a movie that, as you said to me, this wanted to be very much that I think was the template for the writers and the
100%.
filmmakers in a lot of ways. And unfortunately for me, this movie just didn't work. I liked a lot of things about it, but I thought they onboarded way too many characters and threads. And I didn't give a shit about the couple in the dorm room or the guy working at the GameStop himself.
Yeah.
And these moments where this reliance on music that just seemed really out of place.
I thought that was weird
for
too.
what it was going on. I mean, I like that music, a lot of hip hop songs that I actually listened to, but I just thought in the movie and in what are they doing here? What worked for me was the behind the scenes aspect, how the sausage is made, what's going on. I think that Paul Dano has a certain type of acting that when applied correctly, for me, like in The Fabelmans, is really effective, or There Will Be Blood. But here, his mannerisms started to bother me. I didn't know if this guy was supposed to be, I don't mean this to be cruel, but I didn't know if he was on the spectrum. I didn't know, because he was he was so non-pulsed by anything other than trying to run a 4-minute mile. But once again, I will say the casting, the acting is spot on all throughout. I don't think there's a weak performance in here. I just didn't like how Paul Dano, his choices in the character, but he's a good actor. Pete Davidson really surprised me. I thought that his character brought the most heart to the movie. And the wife, it was fucking great. Sure. Like you said, when she says, "Babe, we're really fucking rich," I thought that was a great line read because she didn't say it confidently. It was almost like concerned. It was a really good line read. So anyways, negative for me on the movie with some positive aspects to it, but overall, it dragged on. I didn't see what the point was. I felt it was unfocused because I think a lot of the shit's still playing out, and how it's gonna. I think the guy that Offerman's playing is suing Sony right now because of this movie. So I don't know. It felt a little defanged to me, I guess I should say. And did you notice that the Winklevoss twins are producers on this movie, which I thought was an interesting tie into The Social Network?
They have their hands in a lot of things.
Yeah, each other too.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I'll agree with you on a lot of those points. I still thought this was a fun movie, and better than that, I really think Shailene Woodley is underrated and needs to be in fucking more movies. I think Hollywood's doing a disservice to everyone by not casting her more. She's fantastic. And I don't know. I saw this movie play out. I guess did you watch any of the streaming stuff like for the Congress?
I didn't know, and I didn't watch the documentary on it, so I came into this fairly cold. Other than
I watched it as it happened. Like I watched a lot of people talk this up, and I watched it from pretty much every angle as it went down, and it was super interesting. And the guy is like that. Like I don't know. I think this is really, really fairly accurate to what happened and to how the people probably reacted. Obviously, I don't know how the billionaire guys necessarily reacted in their home and stuff and all that. But it's probably pretty accurate, so I don't know.
I just think in a comparison, you compare one movie to another from the filmmaker, and
100%.
This guy doing I, Tonya was so good, and that was so spot on that I just felt like this didn't have that kind of fervor. This was trying.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely trying to do something, but damn, there were a lot of characters that were unnecessary.
Well, I definitely... yeah, I mean, when you mention some of the girls in the dorm room and even the America Ferrera stuff, I mean, I thought that was neat filler, but it is just filler. Like, I do have to agree that there were moments when I just thought, oh my God, like we're spending a little too much time on this, and perhaps the other parts of the movie, blinded me a little bit to that because I liked the rest of it so much that I was okay with that being in there. But you're not wrong. That's not... They spend a little too much time on other characters. Possibly I will say the Pete Davidson character is possibly in this too much. He's just not important.
Agreed. And like I said, when this is done correctly, you get The Social Network, you get Spotlight.
Right.
When it's not done that great, you get HBO film material. And this is like an HBO film.
And there you go. That's what I'm saying. So this is was Netflix streaming. To me, that's how I saw it, so it was fine.
But I'm glad they're making movies like this, at least so that they're showing, how things are. I mean, I don't hate that it's made. I just wanted it to be great, and it was just okay. So
right.
that's my problem with it. Okay, let's move on and talk about Freelance, John Cena's movie that came out in theaters back in October. You may not have known because it absolutely tanked. To be fair, it didn't get much of a release. It was only, I think, like 1,000 screens, and it didn't get much of a marketing push outside of a digital marketing campaign. But here we are talking about this action comedy hybrid from the director of Taken, which co-stars, I think Allison Eve is in this a little bit. And is it Eve or Brie?
Alice Eve.
Yeah, Alice Eve.
And Alice Eve and Allison Brie.
There you go. And then Christian Slater is a bit part in this as well. And I guess I'll go first here. To me, this is a pretty unsuccessful...
Yeah, you saw this in theaters, right?
I did. And this is an unsuccessful movie. It's particularly in theaters, where it has all the elements to it, meaning that it looks like it's on the level. But when this movie starts going, at about 30 minutes in, you realize there's nothing here. It's pretty empty-headed, even for an action film, right? And this was my biggest problem was this, is that when the action came, it was fairly violent, and I was happy, but it's not really successful as an act. It's not funny, it's not romantic, and it's not very good with the action. And my theory right now is that action movies that are shot in like HD just look cheap. I think you need to be shot on film for it not to look just like a fucking bad stunt half the time. I don't know, but
well, nothing's shot on film.
I don't know. I don't know why this movie looks so cheap, but I did like
I know what you mean.
The interplay between Senna and
You're
that South
wrong.
American president. I thought they were good. Christian Slater is absolutely inconsequential in this movie, and it's almost like Moon over Parador.
Juan Pablo Raba.
Yeah, is that his name? I like that guy.
I like him a lot too, yeah.
But Moon over Parador versus Romancing the Stone is kind of here. And why is Cena's character married in this movie? Then the movie is clearly positioning itself.
Go worse. Go down that path.
Yeah, I mean,
why is he such a bitch?
But why is the movie positioning us for them to get together?
Fucking human being,
and they don't ever get together. You're like, what?
Oh yeah, no shit. Why is he so worthless? Why does his wife hate him, and then all of a sudden not hate him? Like why?
Yep.
Why did they shit all over that character? Just make him such a piece of shit who hated life, and it took this fucking whatever the fuck nonsense action movie was to make him realize that his life is good.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's your idea for a fucking action movie? Yeah, meanwhile, you have Allison Brie, who's... I love Allison Brie, throwing herself at John Cena in this. You're just like... what the fuck is this?
Why is that scene in there? If there's no chance of it happening,
so
why is it in there?
Weird. Yeah, just to make her look... I guess to maybe make him look good. It doesn't make her look good.
It doesn't make him look particularly good.
No shit. He doesn't look good through the whole... I think for the majority of the movie, he does not look good. Like when he's basically taken away from his kid because she can't be trusted. It's just it's not a good movie. There's no reason to set this up to have it be so fucking downbeat on him. Like it's unnecessary.
The only character that's fun is the Latin American president, the guy that you...
Yeah, Juan Pablo Raba's fucking awesome.
He's hearing the
I would
music
watch
in
the
this
movie
movie
from his point of view. I just watched that movie.
He's
That's
having a
fucking
great time in this movie. His character is hilarious in this. I thought he was the only
He's
live
on top
wire.
of everything.
Yep, I thought so too.
But isn't it weird? Like he's the complete opposite of the John Cena character, but they don't ever actually compete. So there's
That
no
would be
like
interesting.
there's no ever back and forth really between them on any of that kind of shit. There's no like there's really not really a matching of wits or a matching of strength between them really ever. Even though they're probably
Here's
the dynamics of this movie.
Trevor,
are
you just nailed it on the head.
right?
Here's the idea: is they should have done it where they had to team up to go rescue her or get his thing back, and they're using each other, the guy's confidence versus the guy's brawn, and all this kind of interplay because what one had the other didn't. But you just explored it more than the movie did. I mean, the movie never even hints at these kind of deeper themes.
I guess I don't know what you do with the wife and
You cut
the
that
girl
character
at that
out.
point.
Cut
It's
the
so
fucking
weird.
wife out. That whole thing for him to get beat down. He could have just been injured and want to get back in the
wife,
field.
But why isn't he just fine with like why is there trouble? Why does there have to be trouble at home like that? Why can't he simply want more from his work life or more from something else?
Why
He's
is he
still
a lawyer?
It's so weird. Like why? I know.
Where does that pay off at?
Dude, bro, there's so much wrong with this fucking movie. I just want to sit down with the writers and the producers and the creators, everyone. I just want to sit down and be like, so what the fuck happened here?
Not only
I need
that,
a rundown
dude,
of this fucking movie.
Here's a
because-
line from this movie. When
Holy
she says
shit.
the name of the fake Latin American country that she's going to, he says
Right.
it's like a Tim Burton movie. And she goes, what do you mean? He goes, it's colorful and creepy as fuck. It wasn't creepy as fuck at all. And it's just a jungle.
It was just normal fucking
I
Latin
thought that was a
American.
strange line to put in there.
And but what also happens? She goes, "Oh, I never quite heard it quite put like that." She's actually impressed by it.
Oh yeah, his fucking yeah, get the fuck out of here. It's
a horrible fucking movie, and I get what you mean by the movie looks uber clean. It does look like it's shot on HD video. It's probably not. It's probably shot on digital cinema, but it looks like shit
because of that. It's
especially
too clear.
If you look at like the Holdovers, if you look at like bro, because it's not fucking lit. Like they don't light movies anymore. They don't do shit. They just fucking shoot them. It's disgusting. Put some artistic value into your shit. I hate it. I hate the look of this stuff. Even, there was a time when you had to shoot on film regardless, and even bad looking film still looks like film, right? So you would get away with that in some sense. It would add something to it. But now film is video. They're the same fucking thing. And so bad film looks like video. It's not good.
I'm telling you, film and the way they lit it and the way that the darks would fall off and the grain to it, whatever the fuck it was, it made the stunts look larger than life as opposed to cheap and too realistic, I guess is the best way to say it.
Oh, hello, look at the Holdovers.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, just look at a frame of the Holdovers and then look at a frame from fucking Freelance. You can tell which one matters, right? You can tell which one, someone cared about this. Someone did not give a fuck about this one, which is horrible because this has John Cena in it, who I hated in this fucking movie, which is just wrong because I love John Cena.
Right.
You got Alison Brie, you got Juan Pablo Raba, you got Christian Slater, you got Alice Eve. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, how did this go so wrong? And to me, Cena has never exceeded the guilty pleasureness, I guess, of his first movie, The Marine. It's unbelievable that his first movie is still the best movie he ever was in, and we never got this could have been like a fun Marine type knockoff.
Peacekeeper.
I know, but I'm talking about his movie output. I mean, what?
I understand that.
12
I'm just talking
rounds
about
and
acting in general, or if you like him.
I do like him.
I mean, you're not wrong. I know, but it depends on it. Highly depends on the role, does it not, for John Cena? Because I like him in general. I want to like John Cena.
John Cena
but
has
there's been plenty of things I've seen him in.
He has the Mark Wahlberg problem where he
him.
whines too much.
Yes.
He gets whiny.
Yes, he does have a Mark Wahlberg problem where you want to like Mark Wahlberg because you like Mark Wahlberg, but then you see him in certain movies, you're like, God, Mark Wahlberg, I don't like him. How's that happen?
Because they don't, you know why? Obviously they're both pretty masculine dudes, but they don't play well they don't do well when they're playing bitches. You know what I mean? Like broken down.
Like this movie,
yes, and Wahlberg has played characters like that too, and they don't ever 100%. Come off well when he's doing that. Even the Daddy Home movie, that's at the comedy, I guess, but still, it's not doesn't come off well. And to me, this movie is a fucking dud when it resorts to the old B-roll footage and bloopers during the end credits to try to convince you that it had a good time. Yo, fuck no.
Oh my God, they were some of the worst fucking lines and shit. I was like, why would you put this? You should burn this shit immediately.
Oh, it's to try to convince you that they had a good time making it and that you had a good time watching it. But I mean, I paid $5 to see this on a lazy afternoon back in November.
Let me ask you something. If you're like, not to say, hey, just, the world's perfect, you're directing Freelance, right? You got a shot, you direct Freelance. This behind the scenes shit happens in front of you. I mean, how are you, like, I'm slapping everyone.
Yeah.
Like, knock it the fuck off. What are you doing? This isn't funny. This isn't even good.
Well, you know why? Because you're not wasting film. We can shoot indefinitely. Fuck it. Lights aren't burning you through.
Are we just dancing around these people on eggshells? Is this how this shit happens?
Why are they literally dancing in these bloopers?
Shit.
Were they going to try to do a coordinated fucking musical number over there? They're all like dancing. It just, to me, it looks like a production run amok. And anytime I see those bloopers in a movie credit that's not a comedy per se or a Jackie Chan film, I always think, oh, you guys are in fucking desperate trouble here. Desperate trouble.
Sometimes I think it's okay to grab a bunch of different lines at once, especially if you're doing a comedy and you don't know and you're unsure and you're there on the day and you're going to grab a bunch of lines. That's not what these bloopers were, though. These bloopers were people fucking around.
Literally.
And trying, I'm cute. You're not. Do your fucking job.
Yeah.
Make a good movie.
Not a forgettable one, which Freelancers is not the worst movie you've ever seen. And I hate to bash on an action film because I love action films and I don't want to see the death of them. But shit like this is what leads to the death of them.
This should have been a home run, though. We should have liked this. John Cena, Freelance. He's going to South America. He's kicking some ass. This should have been a home run.
Yeah, I don't know how they fucked it up this bad, to be honest. It's really a travesty when you watch. It's not a travesty because it's not painful to watch. It's just forgettable. ultimately. And Christian Slater's character has nothing to do with fucking anything. Why? He's
Stunt
just
casting.
another name on the bit poster.
Stunt casting.
There you go. Yep. All right, let's move on since we already shit on that one. Let's talk about the creator, and I'll let you go ahead and start off with the creator. This is that John David Washington film.
Look, I'm just going to shit all over this. So I'm going to let you do it. You go. You tell me if you liked it or not, because I fucking hated this movie.
Oh, man. I wanted to like this movie so bad. I thought this was going to be the Star Wars movie that I didn't get, and that I was big on Rebel Moon a couple months ago, back the Zack Snyder film.
What?
This is a fucking Vietnam film.
This is not that movie, though.
This is a Vietnam movie, basically. If you seriously, this is literally like a 70s Vietnam movie with some...
What is the fucking through point of this plot? Like, I can understand Rebel Moon.
Bro, this is the Golden Child, is it not?
What the fuck is this?
Is this not the Golden Child in Vietnam?
This thing takes forever. First of all, Washington's, I think, pretty good in this.
He's always good. That's the thing. He's very good. He's a very good actor.
I think he's great in this. When he's in this movie, it's fascinating to watch him, as always. What the fuck is this movie? I don't even get the movie. Like, what? Like, the premise of this makes no sense. Why are the Chinese, like, all over this? It's okay. And then the Americans are like, we're going to destroy all the robots. And it's like, what?
How many times does this guy live through a nuclear blast, too? I mean, he just willy-nilly lives through nuclear blasts in this movie. And
I don't get it.
Not only do I not get it, I didn't understand why it was so... It looked like it was... Once again, when I'm watching the first 30 minutes and it has the space marine type characters from Aliens basically being recycled here and they're going on the mission, I thought, okay, I can get behind this. This has got a bit of a Blade Runner vibe and an Aliens vibe. It's a little grungier than I thought.
They throw that kid in there.
I thought it was going to be. Then you throw the kid in there, and I thought, this is the Golden Child now. He's got to protect.
What are you doing?
We're in some Babylon AD category now.
That's exactly. Did I not text you that?
No, I didn't hear you say that.
I swear to God, I'm pretty sure. I'm relatively certain. I mean, now that you said that, I'm relatively certain I made the same comparison, because it is just that bad. And actually, I think what I said was I would rather be watching Babylon AD.
It's unfortunate too, because I wanted to like this.
Really bad.
This
is bad from the get-go. Like, there's nothing is well directed in this. The storyline is all over the place. I thought it's super unfocused, and that includes any sense of like drama, or I don't know. It feels like this movie wants you to cry over robots and characters and shit, but inevitably it's somewhat nihilistic, but then it pulls back and it's not. It's fucking just... I just thought this movie was all over the place. Does not know what it was actually saying or meant to say, mainly because I just don't even think it understands the fucking world it lives in.
Because it's clearly defined, but it's just a collection of tropes from other films and styles.
It feels like a really bad Cloud Atlas.
Yeah.
That's only that actually doesn't bounce around in time, that just bounces around the fucking same universe.
I keep going back to Babylon AD when I was watching this, on how,
me too.
At least though that had some sort of like this is so bad it's interesting. This is a movie that was pushing for. And was it very? Obviously there's like New Asia, it's the East versus the West, but was this not like very much an Asian film with like the title credits and the creator and the friend and the kid and the Japanese anime that the kid's constantly watching? It's very...
but it's Chinese.
Was it Chinese?
Well,
it was
I don't
Asian
know.
of some sort.
The whole movie's Chinese, is it not? Doesn't this movie take place basically in China?
Well, they called it New Asia, so I didn't know if that was supposed to be the Philippines or where it was supposed to be exactly.
This movie is so anti-American as well. It's fucking gross to watch. I'm sorry. Like, at this point, I just can't stand this type of stuff. And I come from an era where I'm perfectly fine with this type of thing in general and like older movies, but why is this now? Especially in a movie that just is made up. This is all made up in your mind. Why make up a fucking movie that's just so anti-American and then try to sell it to me as an American?
Well, I just didn't care for the movie from the storyline, from the way it was captured and presented. A lot of work went into this with the special effects, but all for naught, unfortunately, and really a big letdown, because I was prepared to just love this movie. I thought this was, looking at the poster and the trailers, I thought, this is what Rogue One should have been. This is the movie I wanted Rogue One to be when I went and saw Star Wars. This has this is the farthest fucking thing from a Star Wars movie you could imagine, which is fine. But then don't be so derivative of everything else. I mean, this is a Denis Villeneuve movie that he didn't do. This is. But to me, it's somebody trying to ape that, and I didn't care for it.
Did you
all.
ever see Monsters?
Monsters, is that the independent film with Anne Hathaway?
Well, this is the one. No. That's I don't. Can't remember what that
was.
Was.
A giant something? Or
No. This is Monsters. This is like, I don't know, 10 plus years old. This is a Gareth Edwards.
Yes, is that the hidden or the found footage movie? Was it?
Yeah, kind of found footage.
Trolls,
yes, where they trek across South America.
Yes, I did see that.
After these giant monsters come down through. I thought that was really good.
It was, yeah.
And then to go from that, and Godzilla is quite a step down, and Rogue One is a step down from that, and then the creator is just fucking rock bottom. Like, what is happening, do you think, with directors who do well outside of Hollywood, are brought into Hollywood, and then just are just fucking shoved to the ground? Like, what is going on?
Well, somebody likes what he's doing because they just hired him today to do the new Jurassic World reboot.
Of course they like what he's doing because he's a name. He has these movies behind him, right? The movies I just listed, but they're not good. Like, there's no way he's like, what is happening here? Why is he not? Is this just the Hollywood? Like, he actually isn't in. He's not actually directing these movies, because that's what happens a lot of times.
Yeah, I think there's so many units going sequentially.
Yeah.
I mean,
is that what's going
how
on?
Much
like,
is he really doing?
How does this? Well, how do they get sequentially? How do they go so bad, like sequentially down the line? How do they get worse and worse? I mean, to some degree, I think a lot of people would say Rogue One was better than most of his other stuff. But I would disagree.
Kicked off that movie. Remember, he's like the Josh Trank effect. The kid who got kicked off of the Star Wars and the Fantastic Four movie. I mean, it's all the way. It's a name. I think they can sell a name.
That's a story that I hear all the time, and that's because, to some degree, like what I'm getting at is that Hollywood would rather they would rather not have someone be artistically able to make changes to something. They would rather kick them off the fucking movie.
Yeah, of course, because you have studio executives who are trying to be involved in this, and apparently this is all Gareth Edwards. He said,
"Can you make
he said he
a movie like The Creator, and can it be good from Hollywood? Like, is it possibly? Is it not being like a Nolan, right? Being just like a fucking dude who's come up, your recent talent." You have no fucking shot, right? Like, these movies are all going to suck, is my point. It's like what the fuck is it going to take for us to get back to making real fucking movies at this point? Because I'm so tired of like talking about like why is it taking Alexander Payne to make a movie that we're like, oh, this is such a great movie and everything, and then these other guys who in the past I've really liked their stuff making Hollywood movies, and it's just a fucking shit fest.
Well, I think too many cooks in the kitchen is ultimately what it comes down to. And Edwards says he didn't have much interference on this movie, but if this was his,
I think that's a lie.
So do I. Just because it has the jumbled nature of it, I think down the road when he does interviews, he's going to come out.
This is what the Madam Web, this is what the Madam Web director said. Similar things and stuff, and I think it's a fucking lie, straight up.
Contractually obligated.
There's just no way. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a missed opportunity as far as I'm concerned, and a really big one of the year's big disappointments. Okay, briefly, I want to talk to you about the 40th anniversary release of Dune, the 1984 version. This is the 2-hour and 17-minute version, not that 3-hour cut that some of you might have seen or even own. And this was a Fathom event, so it was a 2-night situation, a Wednesday and Sunday. I caught the 7 o'clock show on Wednesday. Hadn't seen it in a long time, and man, some of these older movies shouldn't be spruced up because Dune is particularly...
Was this one?
I want to say this was cleaned up pretty darn good. And the special effects really look bad in this. I mean, these things have not aged well at all. And I don't know if it was somebody at the theater or what. I thought it was just me, but my buddy said the same thing. And when I say there was 4 other people in this theater that could probably sit 300... I'm exaggerating. It probably had.
Well, it's Dune from the 80s.
But somebody turned that fucking volume up to 11 because when they were doing the thumper, it was shaking the walls, when they're looking for the sandworm and shit. But nonetheless, for me, that movie plays, I've only seen it at home. I was too young to see it in the theater. I've only seen it on VHS and DVD, and I've seen it multiple times over the years. For me, it plays better on DVD at the house. I thought it played very vacantly on a big screen. I didn't think that the cleanup did it any justice, and it's just even weirder on a big screen. All the weird fucking perversions and spitting and the Baron's bubbles and boils are just in your fucking face more. Maybe that's the point. It just like the grotesqueness of the movie is more in your face, like literally, because it's a larger screen. But it didn't seem that voluminous when I was a kid. But in this, I was like, God, this is like a voratorium of grotesquerie.
I do feel like there's movies that obviously get a cult following on VHS, on DVD, on home video, on streaming, after the fact. And like, I agree. I've never seen this on a big screen. I don't know what the cleaned up stuff looks like. I imagine it looks as shitty as this movie's special effects have always looked, which has not been great. That being said, I love this movie. I think it's a great movie, but it is a slow burn. It is a rough fucking movie. This is like, you got to love sci-fi. If you don't love sci-fi, do not watch this movie, because this is true sci-fi. So yeah, it's rough. I would agree, but don't you think, if, in general, like movies like this, it makes sense that why they failed in the theater, but then over time caught on in the home video market.
Yeah, because you could stop it and start it. You could watch it in episodic form if you wanted to as well. I mean, it's a pretty fucking dense movie. Even just watching it now and realizing that they split up the other into two movies and having a somewhat of a background. I did the audiobook on the first one years ago, so I know some of the lore of it. And they've crammed a lot of shit in here. And this is a movie that I realize that if you're not familiar with the Dune world walking in, you're pretty fucking lost immediately, because that opening narration by Virginia Madsen is so confusing right away that you're like, wait, what? I mean, the Kyle MacLachlan character, Paul Atreides, is Moabib, is fucking this guy. He's got like 5 different names in the movie. It's like, Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Hey, who the fuck are we talking about over here?
I remember watching this a lot of times on VHS, because it was just a weird world, and I love sci-fi. That maybe that made a lot more sense after having watched it that many times. Maybe
that's why I like it, because I've seen it so many times. I remember the first time I rented this as a kid, though, I was fucking lost. I thought it was so dull, but after it was on 100%. TV, and the 3-hour version was always lore that there's a 3-hour cut.
This was one of the ones we had taped.
Okay, yeah. This is my buddy had this, his parents were sci-fi people, so they had a store-bought
my parents were sci-fi
version
people.
Of this, so we would watch it on occasion and ultimately get really bored. But I do remember that he had like the storybook version for kids, because we were like real young when this came out. I mean, fucking elementary school.
What's that? What do you mean, like an actual book?
So yeah, so like they used to do like these storybook versions of movies for 100%. Kids. You know what I'm talking about? Like the big pictures and a little bit of a blurb.
Oh, for sure. They did them for more. I mean, you saw like I'll just throw this out there. Obviously, you had like Muppet. I mean, you had
Indiana
Muppet
Jones
movies, but things for like actual kids though.
Batman.
They made a lot of these but Batman, and they were literally like, if you can think of like a storybook for kids, like I'm talking about like Muppets and things, like things for little kids, like they were like those, but they were for like tweens.
Yeah, I guess like 12 to 15, I guess would be
young adults.
And you can get them at like book fairs at school, your Scholastic 100%, book fair and all that shit.
Scholastic stuff would have them. Like you could, for anyone who remembers buying Scholastic stuff, that was fucking awesome back in the day. But you could buy books like this, like Batman and stuff like that. Yeah.
So yeah, my buddy had the Dune one, and I think he even had a couple of action figures. I want to say, I'm not.
Yes, I had.
Was there? Okay, I thought so. Was there the brain guy, the Emperor brain thing that comes and talks to the Emperor in the front? I want to say he had like this.
I didn't have that one, but there might have been. I mean, I had.
It looked like Crane from Ninja Turtles almost.
I know I had Crane. Fucking Ninja Turtles were the best. Yeah, I don't know. I had like Paul Atreides. I had and I had what's his name?
The Picard had one. Jean-Luc Picard character. Patrick Stewart's character had one as well.
I didn't have that. I had the Baron, and I had.
The Baron I forgot that. And they even had. I think Sting had one too. Fade.
And I had the Paul Atreides. I had the Kyle MacLachlan, and there was a Sting one, and I had the Sting one.
There you go.
Yes, I did have that one too. Yeah. So why the fuck did I have this? My parents. I must have liked Dune more than I remember.
Or they were on the clearance aisle at Toys R Us Christmas.
They were on the clearance aisle. Yes, that's also true. That's probably more likely.
Parents, we can get one $15 or 3 for $15. Get the Dune characters, honey.
Yeah, you like Dune, don't you? Here you go. Thanks a lot.
You're the only kid on your block with them, so there you go. All right, let's talk about the trailers that were part of the big Super Bowl show. 123 million people watched Super Bowl, and that apparently was the biggest audience ever for the big game, and that means a lot of people saw these trailers. And the most talked about of the bunch will be Deadpool versus Wolverine. And Wolverine. I thought it was versus. It's and. I love this trailer. I thought this was fucking great all the way through.
Oh, really?
I thought this fired on all cylinders.
You don't like...
Go ahead.
Do you like Deadpool or not?
I do. I really
movies?
do. Yeah.
Because I love the first one. I love the second one. And I am so ready for this one because you're right. This looks fucking phenomenal.
Every joke landed. Every moment works.
It's the best casting in the Marvel universe.
It's not only that. It's Ryan Reynolds at peak Ryan Reynolds, where it actually works for the story and not outside of the story. He's supposed to be this dude. Yeah. I don't need this in every Ryan Reynolds movie.
It never not works.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Marina Baccarin as the girlfriend is
Bring her back.
The casting all the way around is fucking amazing.
I missed her in the second movie. I'm glad she's back in this one.
She gets right. Well, she's in the second one, but yeah, right. But this one feels a lot like a redo of the second to some degree. Like the second one goes to such an extreme of like he can just do whatever the fuck he wants, and so this one's interesting. I feel like how are they going to play with having, I guess, with putting any sort of restraint on him, because it feels like again they're saying, hey, you can do whatever you want.
I love it. The pegging joke with Disney. I mean, all of that.
I love the whole thing. Yeah, because fuck it, right? Because you fucking hate Marvel at some point. Some part of your being, even if you love the Marvel movies, you fucking hate them, right? I do. I also love them. So it's nice to have a character who, and I know people get tired of this type of stuff, of the meta stuff, and especially the breaking the fourth wall and things. People do get tired of it, but with Deadpool, I don't. I could watch 20 of these fucking movies.
Until they make a bad Deadpool movie, I'm not going to bet against them. And they haven't yet. So this is perfect. I think this is going to be the biggest movie of the year. I think this will just own the fucking summer. And
I don't even think it's a question. Yeah, I agree.
I cannot wait to see this movie. And it's been a long time since I said that about a Marvel movie.
And Sean Levy is one of the few directors out there who... I don't even know that the studio needs to interfere. Like, the dude just makes studio fucking movies, and they're good.
And he can do action okay. He's not an Andy Shankman. He does
great action.
He can do good action. Movie
go back to the Night of the Museum movies and look at the way he directs action. Yeah, yes. Oh, Real Steel's fucking amazing. I know. So, yes, I agree. Sean Levy's probably one of the few studio directors out there working right now who can work within this environment and make great movies.
I think it's a fantastic choice, and couldn't be more excited for it. All right, the next movie we'll talk about is Twisters. This is the reboot, follow-up. I think it's a reboot. It doesn't seem to be connected to the first one, although there might be a tenuous connection somewhere in the storyline, like a daughter or a cousin or nephew or some shit like that. But
I hope
this is basically a remake for a new generation of Storm Chasers. And I got to be honest, I didn't care for the first one. It was a phenomenon when it came out. I saw it opening night in the theater, packed full of people, the cow flying across the fucking screen. Between that and then the following week, seeing the first Mission Impossible, which was kind of a letdown, I thought that summer was going to be a dud, only to get resurrected with Independence Day. I mean, when Independence Day came out that summer, I was like, this is the fucking movie I was waiting for. But regardless.
And that movie sucks
I know. Looking back on it, it's probably the hardest one to get through. But I'm surprised that I want to see this movie, and I'll tell you why. Glenn Powell, this kid's a fucking movie star. He grabs the screen. We're talking about where are the movie stars. This guy is a fucking movie star. He captivating in this, in that, like, he's almost got that Val Kilmer dickish. It's perfect because the Iceman, in Top Gun, but he has that kind of, I don't want to see you succeed, but I'm not upset if you do vibe to him in most of his movies. And he's, for me, the only reason to see this outside of the special effects, because this looks like it's going to be a very rudimentary, by the numbers situation, just like the first one was. I mean, what do you think here?
I think this looks way better than the original. I think this looks pretty damn good. If you're going to see this, it probably will be a lot of fun in the theaters. The special effects are obviously going to be way better than the original. The sound's going to be better. Everything's going to be better. And I have to agree. Glenn Powell makes this fucking trailer and probably makes the damn movie. Like, I want to see this, and I kind of want to see this in a theater.
Yeah, me too. They did a good job with this trailer. I was very, very impressed. I thought, I was so cynical when this popped up.
And just by the numbers, as you said, it is 100%. Like, I don't think there's anything going to be crazy special in this, but it just looks like a big screen movie. I feel like
it looks like a summertime blockbuster, and I'm waiting for those. All right, next we got Knox Goes Away. This is Michael Keaton directing and starring, with a script by Gregory Poirier, who did, for me, one of the best movies ever was Primal Fear. I love that fucking movie. I think that's one of the best written movies. Also Fallen with Denzel Washington. If you've seen that movie, he wrote that, and a bunch of other stuff. Did he write The Prophecy? He might have wrote The Prophecy as well. Might have been lower down on his filmography.
I mean, I don't know. He's had his hand in so many things. I don't think he did The Prophecy.
I thought he was involved with that, something like that. But
he may have been involved. Yeah,
hitman, assassin, killer with dementia, almost like a Memento, but he's his own worst enemy because he can't remember or can't decide what's real. Mm-hmm. This absolutely works. I think that this trailer is fantastic. Not only is Michael Keaton great in the trailer, but the guy who's playing his kid, James Marsden, looks good in this.
It's fucking great.
The storyline, I mean, it's already fucking with me. I'm watching this and I'm like, are they giving too much away? No, it could be fake, and what's going to happen here? This looks like it could be a really, really good little mid-spring thriller. I mean, I don't know when this comes out. I didn't see a release date on it. I imagine it's soon, but this could be a word-of-mouth sleeper hit like they used to have back in the day. The kind of thing that probably would have done well in theaters, but would have rented like a son of a bitch. What'd you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. It does. The trailer feels like I've seen the movie after I watched the trailer, but then also, as you say, have I seen the movie after I watched the trailer? Because it does do that little like, well, maybe there's more to this because he's not quite himself throughout of it. And what they do, like even when he's talking with James Marsden in the trailer, they're discussing what they're going to do while they're in the diner, right? And that scene of the trailer gives away two different aspects of that scene, but you still don't know how that plays out. And so I think there's a lot said in this trailer, and there's a lot held back. I'm hoping, anyways, because this looks really great. I not a big screen movie. Sorry, but as far as streaming or home video stuff, this looks really, really good. This comes out March 15th for anyone that's interested. In theaters, of course. I don't know when it comes out on streaming, but yeah, great cast. Al Pacino is in this for some reason.
Because they could afford him, I guess.
Why is he in this? I don't know. I really don't. He seems like the one person in this movie, that could just not be in the movie. I don't know. But it feels like a Mr. Brooks-esque type thing, especially with the Al Pacino in it, kind of maybe being like the William Hurt type character.
Yeah, the alter ego, the consciousness of the character. You could be absolutely right about that. That's another wrinkle. Maybe you just got that. Mr. Brooks, by the way, if you guys haven't seen Mr. Brooks, that is the most underrated fucking movie. Check out Mr. Brooks. And we've said that for years on this thing. But great trailer. I think this really works. Michael Keaton directed one other movie. I want to say it was called Game 6, about a guy stuck in the back of a cab trying to get to the World Series. You ever see that?
Not good.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Not good.
Whereas this, it's interesting to me. These guys get this, all these years they could have been doing this, and they stayed away from all this shit. And now you're in your 70s. And
he's an actor.
I know, but fuck, man, you could have been doing this 20 years ago.
And often it's just is whatever, Not everyone can be Ben Affleck.
Fucking A.
Which, wherever that comes from, I don't know. Well, it's been there from the beginning. Well, hey, I don't think Matt Damon could do it.
They're talking about bringing him out for another Jason Bourne movie. I mean, that's that.
But I don't think you could direct he's never going to be a great director.
No. But Ben Affleck is fantastic.
That's what I mean.
In fact,
so that's what sometimes it works with actors, and sometimes it doesn't.
Thank you for
because they're
bringing
actors.
Up
they're
Affleck,
not directors.
Because you just hit a memory cap that I wanted to say. Make a comparison is. You look how good, to me at least, how good Air was, that movie that he did last year about Michael Jordan's shoe. That was the comparison piece to me for Dumb Money. And that's where there was a big chasm between the two movies in terms of quality and using music and montage.
I thought they were both about the same.
Really? Okay, I thought they were vastly different.
To be honest with you. But then I don't... I just don't go for movies like that in general. And I like both of them. I loved Air, and I love this. I love Dumb Money. But
I thought Air could have been nominated for Best
Picture. Don't go for movies like that.
I was really surprised it didn't get anything.
I would not go that far with that.
I really did. I thought so.
I'm not. I wouldn't go down that alley with it. No, but fair enough.
Now let's talk about this horror film that you had me watch the trailer for, Sting. What's your take on this? It's not about the singer.
Sting. Yeah, this comes out at the beginning. I don't know.
March. I think March 22nd.
I think
April 22nd.
Was it? I thought it was April. The first weekend of April, I think, or as you say, the last weekend of March. Comes out in a couple weeks, a month, something. This is a spider movie. It's just like a creature feature. I believe this is like an Australian movie. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just spiders get loose in a apartment building, and it's like a spider that grows really big. It's a standard creature feature, right? And a girl befriends the spider in some way, tries to keep it as a pet, but it grows too big, and she whistles or hums or something, but sings a song, and it sings a song back, so it's obviously somewhat intelligent. Gets loose in the apartment building and starts killing everybody. I think this looks like a lot of fun. I want to see this in theaters.
It does look good.
And the special effects creep me the fuck out. I hate spiders. These are some great. This is not like Eight-Legged Freaks, which is just a lot of fun or whatever. This is like fucking creepy looking Black Widow type spider shit jumping on people and stuff. In this trailer, I was like, oh my god. So I definitely want to see this in theaters. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If you like creature features or just straight like horror movies, straight up, I think this looks like a great movie.
Yeah, if you live in California and you have a backyard at all, you are no stranger to Black Widows.
Yeah.
So
Black Widows.
This movie just got under my skin immediately. I fucking hate spiders, and this movie hit all the buttons for me in terms of psychologically pushing. Even that shot of the hanging plant and with the lady with the flashlight, and the shadow looks like a big spider on the wall. That was very creative. So I think this is going to be a fun little creature feature, as you said, and really a high quality production. Not the kind of thing that I'm used to seeing from this type of movie. This looked like there's some money invested in it. Somebody cared along the way.
Yeah, well, the director is an Australian director, well known for the Wormwood stuff, which is like the post-apocalyptic zombie type stuff. This is all lower budget, but not that low a budget, like decent stuff. I think they made like 3 of them or something. So he's not like an unknown or an unproven director, you know. So I'm willing to watch this. It's got to be better than the damn Evil Dead movie. The last one of those.
You really didn't like that one.
I'm ready to watch that from my memory, and I'm more than willing to do that with Sting, which looks amazing. I love the idea of like her, because I don't know where this is going to go. In the trailer, they don't really tell you if there's multiple spiders or if it's just the one, but clearly the girl has a bond with it, and that's going to play into it somehow in the ending. I'm imagining she's going to whistle, do the thing, pretend to be friends with the spider so they can fucking kill it. Which will be a bittersweet ending to it, which is what a good creature feature does, right? Like any of these things, it's a monster, but it does what it does. It's living its life. It's not like, it's not against you. It's just a fucking monster, man.
And there's always that character that makes that argument too in the movie somewhere.
Exactly.
It's ours. We're the predators. We're impinging on his territory and all this shit.
There you go. And so then it's just a bittersweet ending where, hey, you got to live. So fuck it. It is a monster. It's giant spiders. Kill the shit out of it.
I got to make a confession. I've never seen Arachnophobia because I dislike spiders.
Great movie.
I know. I'm sure it is. I just had no interest even to this day. But I did see Eight-Legged Freaks a couple years back.
Because that movie's more fun than gross.
That's a 1950s like atomic creature feature.
Arachnophobia is grosser than that movie, which is odd enough. Eight-Legged Freaks is just straight up fun. Even when the spiders attack people, it's just not gross. It's like more fun. Like this movie, in the trailer of this, when the spider, especially towards the end, there's the scene where the spider jumps on someone. Oh my god. Like, if you have arachnophobia, don't fucking watch this movie, because that alone is just like, holy shit.
Works.
Like, I can't even imagine seeing the spider in real life. I might die just seeing it.
Yeah, it's a good trailer. It's called Sting. Check it out. It will be in theaters, although I'm not sure how wide in a few weeks here coming up. And the last movie that we are going to be talking about on tonight's show is Peter 5'8".
Save the best for last,
This
right?
is Kevin Spacey in a very, very low budget. I mean, he's going the Steven Seagal. He wants that Liam Neeson money here. He's going action hero route, and he's got that House of Cards drawl going still here, and it almost starts like a parody. I thought this was going to be like an airplane type spoof. I didn't know what was going on here.
An airplane type spoof?
So I didn't even realize it when we were talking about this earlier. Peter 5'8" is a biblical quote. I mean, that must be what this is. So,
is that what that is?
Stay alert.
Is that in the trailer? I
don't know. I didn't see it in there. But I mean, I looked up what the quote is, and it's, "Watch out for your great enemy, the devil. Stay alert. He prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour." That is a terrible name for this movie, because this little pussycat named Kevin Smith ain't running around looking to devour anybody in this fucking movie.
Well, I'm sorry, but a Peter is a penis. And
I know.
So it's weird fucking
The whole thing.
To see Peter 5'8", really?
Yeah.
Peter, he ate 5 Peters?
Or he's
what?
about 5'8" looking for a Peter. I mean, it's I mean, whatever you want to call it. It's off-putting to say the least. I mean, acting is acting, but seeing Kevin Spacey in the action hero role, smoking, drinking, banging women, it's just, the whole thing is comical.
Yeah, that I thought was
It's almost
weird.
a parody of itself.
Well, this is directed by... do you know who this guy
Who's
is?
that?
The director.
No, I don't know who directed it. I didn't see.
So Michael Hall directed this. He is a visual effects guy from Pixar.
Okay.
What?
This is something he might have done on his third weekend of the month. I mean, first of all, it couldn't cost much to get Kevin Spacey to say yes nowadays. I'm sure he's got to pay off a lot of legal bills.
Well, that was the big thing about this, right? This is Kevin Spacey's return. So this is who would take him.
What if this kicks fucking ass? What if this is the best action? What if this?
Well, I'm watching it because, first of all, here, look at Kevin Spacey's a good fucking
always
actor.
has been.
So he's gonna. I'm watching this movie, and whether this movie's good or bad, the dude's giving 100%, 110. So it's gonna be entertaining, because if it's bad and he's this into it, oh Lord.
How far are we away from the fucking action film starring Nicolas Cage and Kevin Spacey that we didn't know we wanted that we're gonna get? Because I think that's not too far off from here.
Bro, triple face off.
Triple face off. Can we get
John Travolta?
Oh shit.
Oh, we can do it better than that.
Oh fuck.
Oh, we can do it real good. Could you imagine like a Cinco face off or something? I mean, come on, like a 5-way face off.
Can we get John Cusack involved?
Oh no, fuck him. But you can get Cuba. You can get fucking Seagal.
Well, even if they change their face with Cuba, they're not changing their body, so the skin type might be hard.
Hey, shh. It's fine.
This is the cast we want. We're going to end up with Thomas Jane.
They
and
didn't change the body in the other one either. Okay.
Oh,
yet somehow they did.
I'm telling you, there's going to be a movie that's coming out soon with Nicolas Cage and Kevin Spacey in it, 2 Oscar winners. It's going to debut straight to streaming with an action bent to it. It's going to be
that would be actually really good. Come on, they're having like a heat scene between Kevin Spacey and Nicolas Cage in a diner where they're just we're about to fuck each other up.
That'd be great if they had a Michael Mann to rein them in. They're going to have some young kid director who they're going to go so fucking over the top with, they wouldn't even be able to edit the fucking scene.
Hey.
I'm only in if Werner Herzog's directing.
I don't know what to tell you. The Madam Web director is available.
Yeah, I'm sure. Apparently the freelance director is too.
She is available.
Well, that's going to wrap up our show tonight. We want to thank you guys for joining us, as always, on our 395th episode. Hard to believe. We'll be back shortly here with a retro on Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer in its 4K incarnation, the Conan Chronicles. That'll be next week. Speaking for Trevor Anderson, I'm Jason Rugard, and we are the Movie Mavericks.
Oh my, another magnificent episode has come to an end. If you're craving more, set your destination to moviemavericks.com, Warp 9. Engage!